What's up, everyone? I'm Joel. That's Steven. Actually, it's really Cash, but this is Avatar: The Better Than Never Bender, episode 2.
Better Than Never Bender gets me every time.
It is an epic name.
We've known this would be the title for like weeks now, and I still smile every time I hear it. It's so good. It's so dumb, but so good.
And with this episode, we're going to be watching episodes 4, 5, and 6. How do you feel going into episodes 4, 5, and 6 after a 9.9 rating for episodes 1, 2, and 3?
I'm excited to get into like the real meat of the show, because I know the intros, like our first 3 episodes were definitely more introduction. Like in the first 2, like we saw were like it's like a 2-parter and they premiered together. So I'm excited to kind of take the next step after that intro to see kind of like, all right, now we get to thick of things.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it.
Yeah, essentially. So I am excited to see kind of where they go from here.
Yeah, I think that the first 3 episodes are very heavy, and based on what I could see, these 3 episodes are very different tonally from the first 3.
How so?
The first 3 are very serious, and they obviously go through like a lot of like the motivations and the reason why people are doing things. But this is, like you said, the meat of the show, where you maybe will get to still the life lessons and whatnot, but the actual like day-to-day life of Aang and the gang.
So that's the part I'm excited to see. Like now that we have our proper introductions and we know like where they're headed to, like I want to see the journey.
And these 3 episodes are very much the journey. Without further ado, really, let's jump straight into it.
Here we go.
Book 1, Water, the Warriors of Kyoshi. Let's get to it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's episode 4. How do you feel after episode 4? It's a different tonal shift, right?
Different tonal shift, but you also kind of lay some ground about who the characters are. Sokka starts out the episode by being incredibly sexist.
Show yourselves, cowards! Who are you? Where are the men who ambushed us?
There were no men. We ambushed you.
So you almost immediately kind of know where it's going, where he's kind of like gonna learn his lesson. Rightfully so. He gets his ass beat by the Kyoshi warriors, like the girls.
Yeah,
the girls in the village. Yeah, and like I kind of like the whole. Very quickly, he learned his lesson. I kind of liked his like little side story where like he gets his ass beat. He acts all macho man. He's like, oh, you're just a bunch of girls stuck up on me. Blah blah blah. You didn't beat me for a fight, and then like they beat his ass again.
Took his belt off, tied his foot.
Yeah, and then like very quickly, like almost once he next, he's like kicking rocks. He like realizes like, all right, like I fucked up. So he goes back. He asks the Kyoshi warrior to train him. Does the justice and trains in their ways and wears their uniforms and everything.
Do I really have to wear this? It feels a little girly.
It's a warrior's uniform.
Bravery and honor.
Hey, Sokka. Nice dress.
Thing and like I kind of knew where it was going, but like I still liked seeing it be played out. It's a little mini character development.
He gets to have his comeuppance. They still embarrass him. They still put him in like their clothes. They put the makeup on him and everything.
As they should. As he should honor their traditions.
This is a great episode. I think we always kind of come back to this, like if we had kids and we had to show our kids.
Absolutely.
Like if I had a son, I would easily show him this episode to say, listen, like just because they're a girl does not make them inferior to you in any way.
Doesn't mean they can't beat your ass.
The work
on site. Speaking of on site, like Zuko comes in again, finds them all in his village, and like I'll harp back on some earlier points of the episode, but like Aang saw him, he was like, alright, cool. He picked up fans from the Kyoshi warriors. That was incredible. He picked them up using his airbending and then used the fans to like throw out this gust of wind at Zuko and fucking blew him through a fucking wall. Also like he comes in. Also this also shows you too, like these aren't just any warriors. Like the fire army comes in and the Kyoshi warriors like more than hold their own against them.
And mind you, if you notice, all the Kyoshi warriors not benders.
No, they were just straight hands.
Straight fans. Only fans.
Another part of the episode, like, was Aang like kind of realizing he's kind of important and he's a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of curious to see like what that's like in the public eye, where like, oh, he's the Avatar. You know what I mean? And he had fans, he had groupies. Like it looked like the Beatles when they first visited America in like '60. Yeah, like it was like Beatlemania all over again. It was really funny, really funny scenes, you know. And then the whole thing with Katara, with just like, hey, you should be downplaying this a little bit. He's like oblivious to it and like enjoying the ride, and then you realize, okay, like Zuko comes and he's just like, I'm ready to burn this whole village down to find him.
Yeah, she gives Aang a valuable lesson, like, hey, we can't fight all these battles. Sometimes the best thing is to pick up and move.
And in the middle of the fight, he's like, to save the village, we gotta just leave.
But he still ends up riding Unagi
That's
and
cool.
using it to put out all the fires and proceeds to move on in a completely badass way. He does like a high dive from like 200 feet.
Yeah, and he goes straight down. I'm like, where the hell is he going? Like, and then he goes to Nagi, which is also cool looking, design wise, awesome looking monster. Like a giant eel, look cool. So my final thing, he's like, all right, cool. Let me put out all these fires that Zuko and his men put on, and like hopefully going on, this kind of tells him like maybe don't tell everybody you're the Avatar because they will put also a target on your back.
We'll see.
You
We'll
know?
see where it takes him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a really good episode. I enjoyed that. One.
It's overall very, very good episode. But like we said, that was episode 4.
Yes.
And right now we're gonna move on to episode 5. Keep the train rolling.
5.
Book 1, Water, the King of Omashu.
Omashu. Interesting.
And that's episode 5. The King of Omashu. The mystery individual.
Mysterious old man.
Old man from Omashu. It's a very fun episode. We get to see someone from Aang's past, a friend of his. I think it's kind of obvious almost immediately.
Oh yeah, when they showed that flashback and they showed like his kind of crazy eyes, and then they showed the king of Omashu with the same exact crazy eyes, like I caught it right away. And I think a lot of people did, but it is still fun seeing that build up.
Yeah, so it's very obvious for most, obviously, when you see the crazy eyes, and you still question, obviously, you're kind of, maybe it's his son, maybe it's something like that, because it's 100 years.
Also, you would not expect somebody to still be around from that time.
We end up finding out it clearly is him. A lot of random running gags in this episode that I genuinely do like the inserts of the coughs after Bumi says dad jokes and stuff like that.
So tell me, young bald one, where are you from?
I'm from Kangaroo Island.
Oh, Kangaroo Island, eh? I hear that place is really hopping.
Hilarious timing. The perfect, hilarious timing got me both times. I have to say, this is so far my favorite episode.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the most fun episode.
It was hilarious. Okay. The action at the end was, we'll break it down a little bit, but the action at the end was awesome.
It's our first intro into earthbending.
We'll just start, I guess we'll start it from the beginning. Aang goes into this kingdom that he's familiar with, he's been there before. And going off the back of the previous episode, he knows like, okay, I have to hide the fact that I'm the Avatar. So he puts on this ridiculous costume, which
is just Appa fur.
Yeah, I don't know why he'd try to be old man, he'd just be anybody else. You're showing this flashback of him and his old friend Bumi from 100 years ago. And him like, riding down the carts and everything in this kingdom using the earthbending. And so I love that this was the first time we saw earthbending. You asked me a question for the very first episode.
Kind of a deleted scene of the show, yeah.
You asked me like, what power would I probably use? And I said earthbending. Something about earthbending is always kind of appealed to me.
In seeing it now for the first time, do you still feel that way?
If anything, more than ever, yeah. They get captured because they're destroying this town.
They're doing what him and Bumi used to do, using the mail system. Yeah. They're being kids.
Which I loved. I love it's still Aang being a kid.
It's like kind of the struggle of season 1.
Yeah.
Like, he's still trying to be a kid so bad.
Yeah, he was frozen when he was 12, and like he's still 12 years old. You know?
And that's why he ran away in the first place, because he didn't want the responsibility.
Yeah. And then he gets captured by the King of Omashu, who is very obviously Bumi again. Bumi 100 years later.
Do you feel like it takes away from the episode knowing that pretty much early?
No, because
you did ask the question, is that him? And I just kept saying,
I saw those crazy eyes. I knew right away it was him. So no, it didn't take away from it, because now I'm kind of curious to see like how this plays out. Like, how is he gonna like, oh, don't you remember me type of thing? You know?
Where's the reveal?
Exactly. I don't want to see the reveal. But I also really love this part because it also answered not so much so pressing questions about the plot, but more curiosities I had.
Which are what?
Like, oh, is anybody around from his era?
Yeah, from his past.
You know what I mean? Like, what's their reaction going to be when they see him again? You know what I mean? If there is anybody left. And like on episode 5, we see that. We see it.
Finally get a glimpse of that.
Yeah, we see somebody from his past who is this old man, who's also, I'm assuming, is 112 years old, is just like, oh, I know exactly who you are, but I'm going to play around with you a little bit. Like, I'm going to take all these challenges. The first challenge where like, he gets the key, like, you saw Aang, again, use his abilities, like, incredibly well.
Yeah.
Where I was shook. I'm just like, holy shit, like,
he breaks off the stalactite or whatever it is.
Yes.
He throws it and then proceeds to use his airbending to split the water to hit the chain, giving him the key.
I was like, this is genius. Like, this is awesome. He's well in tune with his powers, like, even at 12 years old. I feel like he even surprised himself a little bit because he still acts like a little kind of, titsy little kid. And then he challenges the fight.
Well, he has to find Flopsy first.
Yeah, to find a Flopsy, and Flopsy ended up being like the bigger, scary-looking Digimon-ass looking monster bunny thing.
Knuckle dragger.
Yeah, crazy. And then the third challenge, he has to fight somebody from his choosing, and he picks the king
for a specific reason, because he's deliberately told in all these games that he has to look basically outside the box and think differently than he would think normally. So he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna think outside the box. I'm gonna pick this super old man
who ends up being Master Roshi."
Yes, legit.
Bulks up, huge, straight out his back. He's ripped, traps up to here. He looked insane, but it gave us, I think, the best fight so far.
Yeah, it's the most interesting fight, right?
Incredible. It was the first time like seeing earthbending like used in battle, and I loved it. I absolutely turning the ground into quicksand. Are you kidding me? Do you know how awesome that is?
There's just certain things about it too, like even the power of when he's done with the fight, he falls back into the ground and ends up going all the way to the ground and lands up right next to Katara and Sokka again.
My jaw dropped.
Yeah,
like I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like that was it was such a cool use of the power, and like I know I answered like last time, okay, yeah, I would pick earthbending as my power, and like that solidified it. Like no pun intended. Like the way he was able to kind of just move through the earth and everything like that was awesome. But then him just grabbing the earth off the ground and blasting it at Aang, like, and then he had, then final question was like, oh, like what's my name? And then Aang had to again think outside the box a little bit, like thinking differently, like you know who I am. And he kind of had that moment. It was a very touching moment where like he runs up and gives him a hug. It's 100 years ago, like 100 years has passed for Bumi, and like he still remembers Aang.
It's a very nice full like circle kind of episode. It's very nice little contained story. Even like the episode previous, like it's you go to this new area, we unlock something different, and we get a complete story encapsulated, which I do like about the story. It's moving forward, but like if I just showed you this one episode,
I would have had a blast.
I think you would have been fine.
I would have had a great time.
Same thing with the Kyoshi Warriors.
Yeah, which I also like too is like I like the last two episodes we've seen two completely different areas. We saw this little village, the Kyoshis, these like warrior women, and then now you're seeing this whole functioning city on top of a mountain. Yeah, and when they're using the earthbending to kind of like use everyday life. I love seeing these new areas. I know now we're in like the Earth area, whatever you want to call it, like
Earth Kingdom,
yeah. And like now I'm curious to see like more places, more locations. Like I love the way they jump from location to location, and it's like a really interesting insight into the world itself.
Yeah, the good thing about this show in general is that it keeps it fresh consistently, because there's so many places to explore, and you're kind of looking through it through the lens of a child's eye, like where he's trying to do all these fun things in this area. And if you look at Omashu, it looks like a very like serious place. Like
it does, yeah.
Between their mail system, they have the armed guards all around. Yeah, to enter the city, they part the gates for them. It's legit a fortress.
It is. Well, they're also like kind of at war. Like there was a scene too where like they were training some of the troops. Like, hey, like we're still in training. Like you're at war.
It's
like
one of the best gags in the whole episode.
Man, you'll be going off to combat soon. It's important that you be prepared for anything.
The episode itself was hilarious.
The freeze frame of him ending up right in front of them is hilarious.
And then the scene too, where at the beginning when they're riding through the cart, and then you showed a scene of like a man like working on a pot or something, and it's a long scene, it's quiet, and all of a sudden they come crashing through, and like you know it's coming, but it still made me laugh out loud. It's really funny.
It's interesting to me that this is your favorite episode so far.
My favorite episode so far. It was hilarious. The action was great. The story was great. Like touching moments with like him realizing, oh, it's Bumi, and Bumi like embracing him was like really sweet, and like is this episode
you literally awed at the end of it.
Yeah, it literally had it all.
Yeah.
So far, it's my favorite. So
that was the completion of episode 5. Yes. Now we're going into episode 6.
Yeah, episode 6.
Book 1, Water, Imprisoned.
Ooh.
And that was episode 6, Imprisoned. These 3 episodes were vastly different.
Yes.
Another episode in the Earth Kingdom, where this town is subjugated by the Fire Nation, and they are clearly snatching up Earthbenders.
He's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people up, so y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Yeah, that was wild to see. That was also a great episode. It was also very interesting to see the grasp the Fire Nation has on these kingdoms. You know, like I didn't realize, like I knew there was kind of like at war and whatever, because we didn't see it with Omashu, but with this town in particular, like it was completely taken over by the Fire Nation. Like to the fact where they are taxing people. They are imprisoning every Earthbender.
That they find.
Every single one they come across. I mean, without questions, they take them. And like, so it really kind of shows you like how much of a reach the Fire Nation has all over the world. And like, I did not expect that, to be honest. Like, I knew they were obviously like kind of at the forefront, or at least winning the war, I would say.
Yeah.
But to realize like they're using this town in particular to burn coal for their ships.
Yeah.
So even this is part of like their whole overarching plan. Like, we're going to use their resources, or take them against their will, and like, and use all the coal they have for their ships. And like, it really kind of opened my eyes to like how fucked up Fire Nation really is, and how much they brutalize these people. You know,
it's crazy that there's this much political commentary.
Yeah.
In a children's show.
Yeah, I'm watching this. I'm like, this is also a little tropey too, like the way they kind of came in. It's like, oh,
What do you want? I've already paid you this week.
The tax just doubled. And we wouldn't want an accident, would we?
even then I'm just like, hey, yo, like, what did they do to you? You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy to see. It was also like interesting to see. We also saw, hell yeah, we saw more earthbending, which I absolutely love. And I don't know what it is about earthbending, man. It is just cool as hell. You saw Haru in the beginning use his abilities, his powers, earthbending, just kind of practicing them out. And he's running, he's hiding, and like I think I said the same thing. I'm like, why is he hiding and earthbending? Like, why is he running from it? And then come to find out, like, oh no, they imprison you if you use it at all. Like, completely, like, full stop, no questions asked. Like, oh, you're an earthbender, coming with us. And then, you know, with Katara, Haru uses his ability to save an old man, and that rat fucked. That rat fucked Snitch the same night. The same day. Are you kidding me?
Snatched out of his bed.
I couldn't believe that.
I knew it was coming too. I knew you'd be pissed.
I'm so pissed now. I'm so pissed now. So they imprisoned all the earthbenders, taken to this like rig in the middle of the ocean, like at least offshore, where all the earthbenders are. And it was ridiculous to see. They're in like these, it's like potato sacks, which now that I'm thinking about it, probably force them all to wear it because they're highly flammable. Do you know how dark that is?
Very.
It's like in a second they can just light you on fire if you step out of line. It's a kid show.
Yeah. Is it?
It's both. That's, you know, I caught that. I'm like, there's no way. Like, obviously it wasn't like said or mentioned, but like even just looking at it, like the visual cues, I'm like, they're in potato sacks. They can catch on fire faster. Do you know how crazy it is? So the show has moments like that where I'm like, there's a lot of darkness like in this world, like
absolutely.
And I know it's like a children's show where they try to cover it up with like humor, but like if you really look at like some of these visual cues, like the visual storytelling, we're like, no, this is dark.
But even then, tonally, right? Let's take these 3 episodes apart. Like you have the Kyoshi Warrior one where we're talking about like sexism. You have Omashu where we're talking about like it's more of a fun episode, but even then it's about him thinking outside the box and being more creative. And then you have episode 6 where it's Katara's kind of like she's trying to rally the people, and even then you see how subjugation is completely murked them.
No, Katara like takes a big focal point in this episode where she's like, all right, I'm gonna be imprisoned on purpose to try and break Haru out. And then she's there, she realizes everybody's there. Haru's father's there, old as hell, gray beard, like he'd probably been there for a few years. And then you see all these earthbenders who their will is completely broken.
Yeah, they're finally given earth and they don't use it.
They're scared to use it. They're like their spirit is completely gone, and it's sad. If who knows what they did to these people. And Katara being awesome is like, no, like we're freeing everybody. Like we're making sure everybody gets out, and they come up with a great plan. You get the coal out, and then they all use the coal against the Fire Nation warriors. And you think all the Earthbenders come together and use it? Incredible. I love earthbending.
Absolutely. And you have an episode here where we have Katara who going completely against what she told Aang to do in episode 4.
Use her powers.
No, and his powers. Running away.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah.
They asked her to run away.
Yeah, she's like,
no. And that's one of the big strengths about Katara as a character. She is like the moral compass and the guiding light for the group. Yeah, she has like also the knowledge to know when to run away, when to fight. You saw that here. She was like, no, we can do this. We're gonna do this, and they pulled it off. And awesome scenes. So that was episode 4, 5, and 6. Different flow completely. A different vibes for all 3 of them, and way different than episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, completely different. The 1, 2, and 3 like set the bigger picture, and then like I said earlier, like 4, 5, and 6, like this is the meat of the show, and like it is totally way different. I have to say though, I gave 1, 2, and 3 a 9.9. Like I might give these 3 a 10. Really? You're saying episode 5 is your favorite episode so far out of 6 episodes? Out of the 6 we've seen, episode 5, the King of Omashu, is my favorite episode. I don't know, there's a lot more to go. We have like 62 episodes to go. We have a lot to go. But that right there, like checked all the boxes for me. But this is what I wanted to see. this is what I wanted to see after that third episode. Is like I want to see these different lands and different towns and villages and you know what I also really love too. Like they give you more information about like the Fire Nation and like their control on it. And then I love seeing these little stops along the way to like reaching the North Pole. It's like these little side quests they go on, but they're so impactful.
Like we said previously in this episode, you have episode 4 where we're mind you, we're in the Earth Kingdom for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Kyoshi, an island that's like completely out of the fight. Omashu, which is the fortress, and then you have Imprisoned, which is the town that you know they are fully in the war.
You saw the different sides of it, really. You saw every aspect, every point of view from this war, you know. I saw a town who's very small, did not fend for themselves, but they are also right at the forefront because they were invaded by the Fire Nation right away. As soon as they had, even like, as soon as the Fire Nation got any kind of inkling that Aang could be there, nothing stopped them. They were right there. Then you have the kingdom of Omashu, which is up in the mountains, completely fortified, safe from the Fire Nation right now. And then you have Imprisoned, which is complete opposite. The Fire Nation has complete grasp on it. And so you saw 3 different aspects, 3 different perspectives of this war and the Fire Nation, and it was really interesting to see, each in their own ways.
It's crazy to say we've gone up in terms of your desire to continue to watch.
I might have screwed myself over by giving the first 3 a 9.9.
Yeah, we'll
great.
just see how much we can maintain a 10. Like obviously we said in the past that since we're watching these in 3 episode blocks, right?
Yeah.
Not every 3 episodes is going to be a nice little package, but these were 3 very good episodes to continue the story along. Hopefully we continue to maintain the 10. Maybe at some point we'll hit 11.
We might hit 11 the way this is going, yeah.
We might hit 11. We might have to reevaluate your first 3 episodes. But anyway, that's our time for right now. I'm Joel. That's Steve, our little Apple Cash, and we are better than ever. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you feel about it. How are you feeling of the first 3 episodes? It's clear that Steve is sticking at 10.
Yep. Oh yeah, big time.
And at this rate, we're gonna hit 11 pretty soon. But peace.